He leads us all the way, playing proper football, the Sheff United way. 𝗚𝗿𝗏𝗏𝗏, 𝗚𝗿𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, 𝗚𝗿𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏.
Yes, welcome everybody. Oh, what a night, what a time to be a Sheffield United fan. We are the famous Sheff United and we are once again going to Wembley. Welcome to the Sheff United way. Welcome to the match reaction for our fantastic home performance. 3-0 on the night. 6, that's brackets, 6-0 to the Blades on aggregate. As I understand it, that makes it the single biggest championship playoff semi-final victory of all time. And you know what? I'm feeling it a little bit. And I'm going to pull up this comment from Shaz because I spotted it straight away. Fantastic result. Just one match to go. If we can play like this, we will break the curse. And you know what? I think tonight felt different. I do. I think that was the performance that we were waiting for. That felt different to every other time that we've done this. Every other time that I've watched United do this, this felt different. But you know what? It's not about that. Let me talk to you about my dad. My dad is 70 years old. He's followed United for 65 years. He's seen us in 9 playoff campaigns and they've all ended in failure. He's seen us work our way through amazing moments to get to Wembley also 9 times. That's including Cardiff and the equivalents. But again, 9 trips to Wembley, all of them ending in failure. But we all agreed that tonight felt different. It felt different because the performances over these 2 legs are not something we've ever done in the playoffs before. It felt different because of that connection at the end with the crowd, with the players, with Baldock's song and his banner all coming around with those players. That emotion, that connection feels different. We are going into this in great form. Our key players are fit and firing and performing. They are ready to go and turn up on the biggest stage possible. We have got a system that is getting the most out of all of our players. We are different this year. We can believe in what we're doing, we can dream, we can hope, because yes, it might be the same story that Sheffield United finished 3rd and went into the playoffs. It might be the same story that Sheffield United are going off to Wembley once again, but it is different this time. It's going to have a different ending because we're not going there to make up the numbers. We are going to Wembley to win, to be promoted, to be the ones who finally get to celebrate. That's what tonight meant. That's what this performance, this 6-0 over 2 legs has made me feel. That tonight, and everything we've seen tells me that this is the team that are going to do it, that we are going to get ourselves, not just to Wembley, but we are going to get promoted at Wembley in the best way possible. I'm excited. Don't know if you noticed. But let's go into how we did it. How are we going to Wembley? What happened in the game today? How did it play out that we won 3-0 once again? Well, to be honest, I would say for the first half, if we start there, it was almost exactly what we would have predicted. United had only made a couple of changes. Tom Cannon coming in for 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏 and Andre Brooks coming in on the right wing instead of Ryan Brewster. And those changes, it's hard to say whether they worked or not. I think for the first 25 minutes, like I say though, it was almost what I would have predicted from this game. Bristol City come into this game 3-0 down, and they've got no choice about a game plan. There is no option for what they can do. There is no aim for what they can do. All they can aim to try and get from this game is to fight and attack and go at United with all the momentum that they can possibly muster as early as possible. They need a goal. They need everything that they can do to try and overcome this historic deficit going away from home. And they came at us with everything they got, and they'd not got that much. It turns out they just not got that much because United rode the storm. We watched them play it around in front of us. We watched them do some really nice intricate passing through midfield. We watched them get all the space in the world down the left wing. And was it a bit nervy? Maybe. Maybe I was a little bit nervy from time to time. But for the most part, it was comfortable. They weren't creating chances. Again, 30 minutes of them coming at us with all the ball, all their attacks, everything they could do. And I don't think Michael Cooper's had to make a save at all during that time. Right from the start of this game, they had territory and the ball, but nothing else. All they wanted to do was try and get Scott Twine on it to see if he could do something ridiculous. United's tactics were almost willing to let that happen. We didn't mind them having the ball there. We just let them try and play through us, knowing that we got a secure back six when you take the back four and the two central midfielders, and that they weren't going to be able to create from that. We even gave them a free one if they wanted it. We said, look, pass the ball down your left wing. Our tactics are going to say that your left wing back is going to be free. He's always going to be open. He's always going to be there for a pass, because we are more bothered about what our counter is. We need to try and score goals. We need to try and break them down. And so actually, we're going to keep our front four high. We're going to try and force you back. We're going to try and be really quick on the counter. We're going to really try and push United forward. We're going to leave everybody high. And as soon as we get it, we're going to go quick over the top into 𝗣𝗲𝗴. Now, if we're being honest, at first, it didn't really work. For the first 20, 30 minutes, we couldn't get that connection right. Because while we went forward to 𝗣𝗲𝗴, who was big and strong and dominant, and he was all over his centre-half, he was dominating him through that first half, every time he won the flick on, Tom Cannon was running in the wrong direction. Let's say they hadn't quite found their link-up, their partnership play in terms of bringing it together. So we weren't able to get out for a little bit. But to be honest, it was job done. Once we'd ridden that storm of 30 minutes, that was the perfect scenario for United. Take their best shots, take everything that they're going to try and throw at us, and just ride through the storm and wait for their momentum to burn itself out. And it did burn itself out. And so from the half an hour mark onwards, United grew in the game. We managed to get a foot on the ball. We managed to start to control it. We managed to start to go forward. We had some half chances. We weren't massively creating ourselves, but we knew that we could switch it on. And actually, we'd taken the sting out of all their attacks. And then came the most ultimate sting in everything. They'd huffed and puffed. They'd thrown everything they got at us, but ultimately they'd just blown themselves out. And United made them pay for it as soon as we had the opportunity. Because we won ourselves a corner, 40 minutes. All season long, what United have not been able to do is score goals off corners. We've not been able to create chances and do anything right off corners. And yet, over 2 legs against Bristol City, that's where our joy has come. And that's where it came at the end of the first half. A corner whipped in, and we obviously got a plan to stick it right in the centre of that 6-yard box. This time, the defenders are nowhere to be seen. The keeper can't figure out whether he's coming or going. He's stuck in no man's land. 𝗣𝗲𝗴. And I'm delighted for 𝗣𝗲𝗴 because he needed that moment, he needed that goal, and that's a real kickstarter for me. He's earned his place in this team with the way that the two up front is working. He's a fantastic partner for 𝗬𝗏𝗏, and I thought that goal really summed up everything we needed about it. But also, it took any lingering doubts, any nerves, everything left the game at that point. It was clear, it was obvious, we were off to Wembley, and it was half-time, 1-0, 4-0 on aggregate, and job done. We couldn't have asked for any more. But we got it. Because the second half then came in. And actually, right at the start of the second half was the only moment in 180 minutes of football. Right at the second half was the only moment that I actually thought Bristol City might score. The only time at all through those games. And it was they sent somebody forward. He dived to win a free kick. And from 30 yards, Scott Twine, who is statistically, I heard the other day, statistically the best free kick taker, I think, in the world or in Europe. He has a ridiculous free kick record in terms of the way that he's taken them forward. He had the ball in his hand. He had the ball on his spot, exactly where he'd want it, have a shot at goal. And that was the only time I was ever worried. Because I actually thought, Jesus, he might do this. He actually might be able to knock this in the top corner. But he couldn't. It was straight at Cooper, comfortable save, tipped over the bar. And that was it. That was basically as good as it got for Bristol City. Because from that point onwards, United were absolutely rampant. Absolutely rampant. Not long after that free kick and the moment that maybe made me feel a bit like, oh, maybe they'll score a goal. Might be nice for their travelling fans. United went up to the other end and we just killed anything that they even dreamed of being able to do. Tom Cannon did really well here. I give Tom Cannon a little bit of stick. I think a lot of people might do the same because, He's not kicked on in the way we would have wanted him to since joining United, but he did really well here. And I think in the second half, there was something he did a lot of, and it was winning the ball back from their centre-halves. They'd come forward, they'd try and play, they'd have the ball at their feet. He was pressing them, he was harrying them, and he was forcing mistakes from them. He did that just after this free kick to try and drive United forward, won the ball on the halfway line, and he's running towards goal. And he's just not got the pace in his legs. He just can't make it all the way towards goal. 𝗍𝗵𝗴's running up behind him in the middle. He tries to play the pass through, but no, it hits the legs, bounces out for a corner. And I'm a little bit frustrated. I'm thinking it's just not working for Cannon. Is it ever going to work for him at Bramall Lane? But actually, his fantastic work here, him winning the ball, him driving United forward, him winning the corner, sets up United's second goal on the night, because it goes out for the corner. The corner is taken quick. It's passed seemingly to Andre Brooks at the edge of the box. But Andre Brooks ignores it. He dummies over it. The Bristol City players have all moved as if Brooks was going to take it. Comes to 𝗍𝗲, blasts it towards goal. And I was going to pretend this was a worldie. It takes a hell of a deflection, doesn't it? I mean, he strikes it really well. It hits the defender, bounces over into the far corner, and it is 𝗤𝗄 central now at Bramall Lane. It's 5-0. 5-0 on aggregate. And even me, Mr. Negativity, Mr. Pessimism, even I couldn't think that there was any way that United were not going to Wembley at this point. It was just beyond belief for how United were going into this game. There is no way that I ever dreamed we'd be 5-0 up, and there it was with 40 minutes still to go and the game in the palm of our hands to do with what we will. And I'll be honest, as you may notice from my slightly crackly voice, as you may notice from my slightly dishevelled brainwaves as I'm talking my way through the game, I got excited at this point. I was enjoying myself, and to be honest, I went into party mode at this moment in time. And so the details of what actually happened in the game, they'll be in here somewhere. But unfortunately, they're not here right now. And so we're going to have to go through a bit of a quick run through the rest of the game, what happened there. Because, to be honest, the way it's easiest to summarise is Bristol City knew that their goose was cooked. They knew they were beaten. They knew they were done. And you could see it on their players' faces that actually they kind of wanted this game to end. They just wanted it to be at the end now. They'd had an amazing season. They'd achieved so much more than they thought they could. But this was 2 games too far, and they were getting embarrassed on the biggest stage that they were going to be facing, and they really sort of shrunk into themselves. United started playing with pizzazz. Sheffield United were taking the mick, as it was, as the chant went around Bramall Lane at one point, and it was flicks, and it was close passes, it was nice interplay, it was interchanges between 𝗍𝗲. We'd done the subs at this point, so Campbell was on, 𝗍𝗲 was on, and we were just playing lovely football, just knocking it around between those players. Lovely footballers with the ball at their feet, and it was a joy to watch them. We weren't creating golden chances, but you knew that if we wanted to put our foot down, we really wanted to kick on, this could have gone further, because we were just playing lovely stuff, and it was really just great to be there, enjoying a game at Bramall Lane, watching us play well, but celebrating the fact that we were going forwards and we were taking ourselves to Wembley once again. There was one last moment that's worth shouting out from Bristol City's perspective. Obviously, there's another moment from United's perspective, because anybody who can count will know that we've only got to 5. But Bristol City did get to have a moment. There was probably for the first time across the entire 2 games, because there was a reference in the comments I saw earlier that Cooper did make some saves in the first half. They were straight at him. Shots from distance, straight at him. But he finally had to make a save for the cameras. He had to get himself front and centre, diving up towards his right. And this wasn't a chance. It was just a great effort. An absolute out of nowhere blast from their centre half. He gets it 40 yards from goal, smashes towards goal. Cooper dives to his right, pushes it out for a corner, and that's it. That's probably the best save he's made in 180 minutes. But you know what else it did? And this is something that's definitely worth shouting out, that we have to give an opportunity to say here. They had nothing to cheer all night long. But huge credit to the Bristol City fans for their support and the way they backed their team through every single thing that happened at Bramall Lane tonight. Even when it was 5-0, 6-0, they were going mental, they were celebrating. They were trying to G up their players and give them a moment they were always going to remember for the support from that group of fans. I think in particular at this moment, it really G'd them up. They had a shot, they'd seen something from them, so they gave them a huge cheer, a huge celebration over winning this corner, over getting forward. I think it was one of those where, you know, look, 3-0 down on a Monday night, it's easy not to come. it would have been really easy not to make this unbelievably long journey to Bramall Lane. But they did. They turned up in their numbers. Look, there was a bit in the first half that I thought was distasteful, that I thought was a bit too far for me. But fortunately, 𝗣𝗲𝗴 then immediately sat them down with his header, with his goal. And after that, it all became good feelings, I think, from them. They were focused around just having a good time, celebrating their team. There was no more hate being thrown anywhere, no more sort of questionable chants towards some of the United players, and instead they were just celebrating their team. You know, they sang all night long. I thought they were a huge credit. Gary Sinclair said it at full time. I just thought they really represented their club, their players, their squad really well. I thought they did themselves proud tonight, and while it wasn't the performance they wanted, given they've had an amazing season, just worth recognising the work of those Bristol City fans, because I think they deserved a good night, and hopefully they enjoyed it. It certainly seemed the way they did, even though in the end it was quite embarrassing for them on the pitch. And of course, the final bit of embarrassment comes not long after that moment. United wrapped it up in style, and this might be my favourite goal of all six, you know. It's an absolute lovely goal. Brewster gets the ball under control, central midfield, and the weight of pass that he plays for 𝗍𝗫𝗲 down the left wing is just lovely. It is perfect. Campbell couldn't have asked for a better pass. He gets it on the wing, and he immediately, before he takes a touch, sees Harrison Burrows steaming into the centre of the box, plays a lovely ball across the front, and you think, right, it's coming to Burrows. Burrows is going to get another goal against Bristol City. But he doesn't. And in a carbon copy almost of what happened at Ashton Gate, of the way we scored our second goal at Ashton Gate, he dummied it. Let it go through his legs, and it comes to Callum O'Hare, who smashes it into the corner. It is a beautiful goal. An absolutely beautiful football goal. It was really nice, really well taken, really enjoyed it. And I just thought, yes, thank you very much. Game over, 6-0, the biggest playoff semi-final win in the Championship of all time. The record breaker, the record-breaking sixth that was my favourite. Just a beautiful goal and a beautiful way to round off what was really a fantastic 2 legs. And hopefully the appetizer to what is going to be one of the most amazing ends to a season that we can imagine as Sheffield United fans. What a performance. What a win. And you know what? I've talked a lot about the attacking celebrations there, the great things that happened, the party, the atmosphere. But there was one other moment that I think sums up this United team. And you know, I said at the start that this United team feel different, that we're doing things that maybe we've not done going into the playoffs before. And that moment was summed up for me. It was 5-0 to United, and we had a corner. They headed the corner clear, and I think it's 𝗍𝗫𝗲 gets the ball for them, and he's one-on-one. I think it must have been with 𝗬𝗏, it might have been with Sousa, but he's one-on-one with him, just him, and then the United goal. And before you knew it, he was surrounded by 6 red and white shirts. Because even at 5-0 up in a semi-final, when the game's done and there's 15 minutes left, they were so determined not to concede a goal. They were so determined to block every cross, to block every shot, to make sure that we weren't going to concede, that nothing was going to spoil the party atmosphere at Bramall Lane. And that's the difference. That's amazing. And that is what's going to take this team further than any of the teams of yesteryear, any of the other teams who haven't got over the line. The difference for this one is that commitment and that passion that they had to make sure the ball didn't end up in the back of our net. Oh, I've loved it. I've had a really good night. I'm sure you can tell. Let's come to some of your comments. Hope you've all had as good a night as I've had, because as you can tell, I've really enjoyed myself. So let's see what everybody else is thinking. John Wallace has gone in straight away, and this is definitely worth saying. He is a man worth shouting out. My man of the match on the night, Vinny Souza. Thought he was incredible. Listen to Radio Sheffield on the car home. They were talking about the change, the impact, the difference. You know, think back 12 months to who Vinny Souza was to Sheffield United fans. And, you know, I'll hold my hands up and I'll admit where I was. I despised him. I really did. I thought he'd phoned it in. I thought he'd given us nothing. I thought he'd chucked it away for a season. The way he's turned it around is unbelievable. He might be my favourite player. I love him. I love everything he does. I love his chant. I love the way he runs. I love his commitment to defending. I thought he was outstanding again tonight. I think at times he was almost a one-man midfield the way he took that forward. So definitely worth shouting him out. And thank you, John, for making sure that I didn't miss him and that he was remembered all the way through. Now, Justin Rice, I think this comment might have accidentally popped up on screen earlier on today, but I'll bring it up again because what a result, what an atmosphere, and I agree. I thought Bramall Lane was fantastic tonight. You know, They said there was only 26,000 there. I don't believe that. You know, I looked around Bramall Lane and that was as full as I've seen it all season. I know the Bramall Lane upper wasn't full, and maybe that's where the missing fans all go, but surely that's not enough. It just didn't feel right to me when they announced that. But I thought everybody who was there was fantastic. I thought the way they sang, the way they chanted, the way they celebrated United really was amazing. And the tribute to 𝗣𝗿𝗿 was goosebumps, everything about it. But we will come back to that, I promise you, because I want to finish the video with that tribute to 𝗣𝗿𝗿𝗿 and how beautiful those moments was. Noah, our resident American, he has booked his flight and he's ready to come. Hopefully we will get the chance to meet up, Noah. Hopefully we'll get the chance to see you. And hopefully we'll get the chance to see you celebrating on Wembley Way. Jonathan, he thinks it's destiny. You know, I keep talking about the number 10. I talked about my dad earlier. 9 playoff defeats. This is playoff number 10. It's our time. I talked about Wembley. He's been 9 times. This is Wembley number 10. It's our time. 100 years since we last won at Wembley. It's our time. 100 years. It's ready. We deserve it. We need it. Hopefully, this is the moment. This is the time that we'll be taking it forward. Alessandro wants to shout out the impact that 𝗬𝗲𝗲 had and how different this team looks for the one that ended the season, ended the regular season, should we say. And he's right, you know, because that was a risk, what 𝗬𝗲𝗲's done in these playoffs. And we need to just reference that, because I was really worried after Plymouth. I was. I thought that 𝗬𝗲𝗲's had gone. I thought that we'd bottled it. I thought the pressure had come to us. I thought that I didn't know how we turned it around from there, because it felt as though everything had just sort of cocooned and put us in this really awful position where the manager's mind had gone, the players weren't focused. We just seemed angry at the fact that we weren't going to get automatics. To have turned that around, to have gone from that moment of almost fighting with the Plymouth players on the pitch to where we were tonight is incredible. It's the rebuilding of a belief system in that team. It's the rebuilding of their sort of attitude, their commitment, their passion. It's the rebuilding of a squad from a real low ebb. And he's done that by changing a tactic that had worked so well. It's a tactic that had given us our best championship season ever in terms of points won, or equalled our best season ever, should I say, in terms of the points that we'd won on the pitch. And it takes a real bravery and a real sort of belief in yourself and your team to change that tactically for the playoffs, to go to this 4-4-2 system, which doesn't just look good. It looks incredible. It looks better than we've looked all season, the way that we've played in these last 2 games. That attacking fluidity, the way that we're building that partnership, the way that we're using 𝗣𝗿𝗴, and he looks like the player I thought we'd signed now. We do look like a different animal. We look like a team ready to attack the playoffs and ready to go up. Talked to Statman Adam, bumped into him. He was sat behind me at Bramall Lane today. It was fantastic to see him. He's raced back from his holiday, been in Cyprus. A little bit of sunburn I think I saw creeping through his nose there, but we'll let him off. Hopefully he's had a fantastic time on his holiday, and hopefully an even better night spent at Bramall Lane tonight, celebrating. Can't wait to see him. Can't wait to see him again at Wembley. It'll be so nice for us to be able to get together. Take a moment here from Jordan to feel sorry for Bristol City, and I think it's fair. You know, I thought their fans were fantastic tonight. You know, I said it earlier. I thought they deserved better than their season ending like this. You know, I think it's the first time in 18 years that they've been in the playoffs in the Championship. I think I heard somebody say earlier it's their second best league finish in 45 years. And that's incredible, and it's such a fantastic season for them. I do feel a bit sorry for them that it had to end this way with the record-breaking defeat. We've been embarrassed at Bramall Lane, but that's the gamble you take. They finished closer to relegation than they finished to Sheffield United. There's a reason that we beat them 6-0 tonight. There's a reason that they struggled, and there's a reason that we were able to do that. And we did it because we've been better than them all season. I wish them all the best. I really do. I hope they continue to grow. I hope they continue to develop as a team. They do everything right. They've got a really nice structure, a way of playing. They bring up young players. I like their fans, but it just wasn't to be for them tonight. So I do feel for them. It's worth having a mention to them, but up the blades. 𝗍𝗿𝗲𝗍, viral vibes, apologies. He got to meet Nick, which is, you know, either commiserations or celebrations, depending on how you feel about that. I know whenever I have to bump into Nick, I'm never quite sure whether I'm happy about it. So maybe you enjoy it more than I do. Only kidding, Nick. I love you very much. That was a weird moment to have live on a stream with 500 people in it. So go me, being weird. We've nailed that. What other comments? We've got a lot of debate going on about how United will do next season. But I think, you know what? seeing the comments about United going on next season and what we think about the Premier League, what we might need to do with our squad for the Premier League, don't matter. Right now, I don't care. And I know that it's important, and I know that next season we'll all have the thoughts and the vibes and the memories and whatever happened before. But this isn't about that for me. This is about Wembley. And this is about the moment that we've waited for. This isn't, I can forget everything else. I don't have to worry about whether we stay up and what players we need to sign and how much money we need to spend. It doesn't matter. What matters tonight is that we've got the chance to write history, that we've got the chance to do something that we've not done in 100 years, that some of us have never seen us do before. It doesn't matter what happens next year. It doesn't matter what happens in a month. I don't care. What matters is what happens on Wembley. I want to be the man. I want us to be the team that are celebrating. We deserve it. We've earned it. We've come here and done it for so long. We've got to go. We've got to be there. We've got to go to Wembley, celebrate and be the team that wins. What happens next, we'll think about that at another time. We'll worry about that in August. For now, think about Wembley. Think about the moments that can bring. Think about the celebrations with your family, with your friends, with how 30, 40,000 Sheffield United fans and how special that day is going to be. We'll worry about the future in the future. Now let's enjoy the present and enjoy the trip that we're on. That's enough for me. I've got to get up and go to work in about 6 hours, which is, I'm really looking forward to. I'm going to have a lovely time because I'm immediately going to be able to fall asleep, as I'm sure you can tell. And the adrenaline's not going to keep me going for at least another hour. And therefore, my wife is going to be delighted when she's just be like, oh, can you please go to bed? So we will leave it there. Look, let's focus on those main moments. And there's two things that we have to leave as our final message. Two things that has to be the way that we end for tonight. And those things are very clear. The first one is that it was a brilliant performance, a brilliant win, and there's a trip to Wembley on our future. We saw fantastic connection with United, with the team, with the players, and with everything that's happened tonight. And the driving force behind so much of that, and what I thought makes me feel different, that I think made tonight even extra special and more incredible for everything that we wanted. It was a theme that ran throughout the night. It started just before kickoff. It was then there after every goal that Sheffield United scored, and it was the first thing we did at full time. It was the tributes, and it was the 26,000 people paying tribute to 𝗍𝗍𝗿𝗶𝗹𝗹, to chanting Starman at every opportunity we had, to getting everybody up on their feet, chanting and celebrating and enjoying ourselves to his chant. That was special. That was Bramall Lane rocking at its absolute best. And we remembered everything that he did for us. His name, he was the rallying cry that makes what we achieve this season even more special, because we're doing it with him in mind. We're doing it for his memory, for everything that he stood for at Bramall Lane, because he was a huge part of us and we lost him this season. It's so recent and he's so connected to everything that we've done in recent years, all the great things that have happened for United, that we're doing it for him. And the tributes to him today I thought were absolutely beautiful. Bring a lump to the throat, maybe a tear to the eye, and we'll never forget 𝗍𝗍𝗿𝗶𝗹𝗹, and we'll celebrate this season in his honour because he's always a blade and he will never be forgotten by any of us. And the night, for as amazing as it was made all the more amazing for the tributes that we did for him this evening. Yeah, it's special and we love you very much, George. So there it is. Wembley. Wembley next. The next time any of us are sat here doing a match reaction, let's hope they're as happy as I am. Let's hope there's this smile still on everybody's face. I hope you had an amazing night tonight. I hope you have an amazing week ahead, celebrating and remembering tonight and what we've done in these last two games. We've got 12 days to remember and prepare and get ourselves ready for the biggest game of the season, to get everybody there singing loud, singing proud, and to be ready to break the curse of a lifetime. Because after 70 years that my dad's been watching Sheffield United, this is the year that he's going to see us win at Wembley. This is the year, because it's our time and it's his time and it's going to be special. So get ready for it, because we've all got to be there. We've all got to celebrate. Up the Blades.
Olé, olé, olé.